Sometime in the last 100 years, humans stopped walking. Not all at once, not on purpose, just slowly, trip by trip, errand by errand, until the average person in the modern world moves their body for less than 17 minutes a day. 17 minutes. For the other 99.9% of human history, that number would have been incomprehensible. Your ancestors walked between 15 and 20 kilometers every single day, not for exercise, not for wellness, just to survive, to find food, water, shelter, and other people. Walking wasn't something they did. It was everything they did. And your body was built for exactly that. So what happens when a body built to walk 20 kilometers a day walks 200 meters instead? The answer isn't just about your muscles. It isn't just about your heart. It goes deeper than almost anyone talks about, into your brain, your immune system, and a biological process your body has been quietly running for 300,000 years that modern life has nearly switched off. Let's start with what walking actually is. Most people think of walking as a lower body activity. Legs move, you go forward. Simple. But that description misses almost everything that's happening. When you walk, your body runs one of the most complex coordinated operations it knows how to perform. Your cerebellum is processing balance and spatial awareness in real time. Your vestibular system is tracking your head position against the horizon. Your eyes are constantly recalibrating depth. Your arms swing in counter-rotation to your legs to stabilize your torso. Your breathing synchronizes with your stride. Walking is not a passive activity. It is a full system operation. And here is the part that changes how you understand everything that follows. In 2018, neuroscientist Wendy Suzuki at New York University published research showing that a single 20-minute walk immediately increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focus, decision-making, and emotional regulation. Not after a week of training, not after months of exercise. After one walk, the effect lasts for hours. Mood improves. Anxiety drops. Working memory sharpens. Your brain, in the immediate aftermath of walking, is measurably different from the brain that was sitting in a chair 10 minutes before. Suzuki called it the most transformative thing you can do for your brain today. But here's what her research also found. The brain changes from regular walking aren't just temporary. Over time, consistent walking physically grows the hippocampus, the region responsible for memory formation and spatial navigation. A 2011 study led by Kirk Erickson at the University of Pittsburgh took 120 adults and split them into two groups. One group walked 3 times a week. The other did only stretching. After 1 year, the walking group had a hippocampus 2% larger than when they started. The stretching group's hippocampus had shrunk. Shrunk, as in the people who didn't walk lost brain tissue. 2% sounds small, but in the hippocampus, it reversed age-related shrinkage by 1 to 2 years. In a region of the brain that typically loses 1 to 2% of its volume annually after middle age, walking didn't just slow the decline. It reversed it. Your ancestors walked 20 kilometers a day for 300,000 years. Their hippocampuses didn't have the option to shrink. Yours does, but the brain is only one piece of this. Because walking, for ancient humans, wasn't just locomotion. It was the primary context in which the human immune system learned to function. Here's what that means. Every time your ancestors walked through open terrain, they were exposed to microbes in soil, in plants, in water, in the air, in other people they encountered along the way. The human immune system co-evolved alongside this constant low-level microbial exposure. It calibrated itself against this background noise. It learned to distinguish threat from non-threat by being in contact with the living world constantly. Modern humans have largely removed that contact. A 2019 study in the journal Science found that children who grew up on traditional farms, with daily exposure to diverse soil microbes, had dramatically lower rates of asthma, allergies, and autoimmune disorders than children raised in urban environments. The researchers called it the biodiversity hypothesis. The immune system, deprived of its normal calibration environment, begins to misfire. With nothing real to fight, it starts attacking things it shouldn't. Pollen, dust, the body's own tissue. What ancient humans got from walking 20 kilometers a day wasn't just cardiovascular fitness. They were continuously recalibrating a biological system that was never designed to operate in a clean, indoor, largely sterile environment. Your immune system was built on a road, and we moved it inside. But the deepest effect of walking, and the one almost nobody discusses, isn't physical at all. It's rhythmic. In 2016, Stanford researchers Marilia Pezzo and Daniel Schwartz published a study showing that walking boosts creative output by an average of 81%. Not treadmill walking, not exercise in general, walking specifically, and particularly walking outdoors. Their explanation pointed to something ancient and structural. The rhythmic bilateral motion of walking, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, creates a synchronized cross-activation between the two hemispheres of the brain. This rhythm, Pezzo and Schwartz argued, loosens the rigid mental patterns that block creative thought. It's why so many of history's most productive thinkers, Darwin, Rousseau, Nikola Tesla, Beethoven, were obsessive daily walkers. Darwin walked the same gravel path outside his house for hours every day. He called it his thinking path. He reportedly couldn't work without it. Beethoven walked through Vienna every afternoon with a notebook in his pocket. He said his best musical ideas came to him during these walks, never at the piano. These weren't coincidences. They were the same biological process operating in different people across different centuries. Walking wasn't clearing their heads. It was activating them. And modern humans stopped. We didn't stop because we wanted to. We stopped because the environment made it unnecessary. Cars made it obsolete. Desk jobs made it impractical. Delivery services made it avoidable. Every convenience we built was, in some way, a device to reduce the distance between where we were and what we needed. And each of those conveniences extracted a cost nobody was measuring. The average person in a high-income country now walks fewer than 5,000 steps per day. Ancient hunter-gatherers averaged between 15,000 and 18,000. Some groups exceeded 20,000. We are moving our bodies at less than a third of the rate we were designed to, and the effects are not subtle. Cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, depression, anxiety, cognitive decline, chronic inflammation, weakened immune response, disrupted sleep. These are not independent conditions that happen to be common in modern life. They are, in significant part, the downstream consequences of a body operating at less than a third of its intended movement load. Researchers have a name for it now: sedentary disease. Not a disease you catch, a disease you build, 1 unwalk kilometer at a time. And here's the part that makes this strange. You don't need a gym. You don't need equipment. You don't need a program or a plan. You just need to do what your ancestors did automatically for 300,000 years. In 2019, a large-scale study at Harvard Medical School tracked 16,741 older women and their daily step counts. The women who walked just 4,400 steps per day had a 41% lower mortality rate than those who walked 2,700. The benefits continued to accumulate up to around 7,500 steps, after which they leveled off. Not 20,000 steps, not a marathon. 7,500. Less than half of what your ancestors did without trying. Your body doesn't need you to be a hunter-gatherer. It just needs you to move as if your food isn't always exactly where you're sitting. For 300,000 years, your ancestors walked because they had to. Their brains grew around that movement. Their immune systems learned to function inside it. Their best ideas arrived because of it. You stop walking and call to progress. The road is still there.